This whole idea about that the Jews made Russian Revolution and somehow they all powerful and mighty, and therefore after this created Hitler, it's denying objective truth. Russian Revolution happens because there was extra exploitation. It's like absolute slavery, even worse than slavery, and in the same time people was freed and was not provided with any freedom. And exploitation of like 80, 85, 90% of population of Russian Empire was just over the top, and this was objective historical process that led to creation of communism, creation of the people who was ready to fight for communism, and absolutely atrocious conditions in the Russian Empire in the farming where the serfs was. But following that logic, blaming some group of people, whether it was Jews in this case, and saying that it's like conspiracy of the Jews, they created Russian Revolution and they installed their puppets in there to do exactly what, by the way, and it's denying the objective historical facts and objective historical process. Also, this serves a very important idea in capitalistic propaganda. It means that by denying that there was objective process that led to this, that led to rebellion, that led to many revolutions, many riots, uprisings, etc., because there was like every year more riots than more clashes with police than the days in the year, like 400, 500, sometimes 300, something along those lines. Each year, the serfs rebel against the regime before the 1900, and after, of course. And denying objective historical process, you in blaming on the whole that happened in Russia during the revolution for some group of people. It means that you denying that there was extra over the top exploitation by the few, majority by the few. It means that you denying this. It was the fault of the system that was in place, the system of socio-economical relationships. There was no slavery, there was no enslavement of any kind. The people on the paper, quote-unquote, was quote-unquote free, and still conditions of living in the cities, in the village, there was atrocious, just incredibly bad. And by denying this and blaming it on some group that created the process of revolution without any relation to historical process, to exploitation, atrocious conditions of living, lousy salaries, exploitation of child labor, etc., etc., etc. You denying this everything, and therefore you're not blaming the system, socio-economical system that led to this, but you blame only the group of people who create some process that after was repeatedly that the Jews installed the Hitler. It means that the Stalin and the Hitler, it's like absolutely the same people. They came from absolutely the same background, and you equal one to another, and with this you put all the blame out of this socio-economical system that caused Russian Revolution, that caused uprising of Third Reich and Hitler, and put the blame again out of the socio-economical system, but put the blame on some group of people. And in case of corporatism, it's all bad corporations. It's not that people relationships is far more complex than simply just cartels of corporations. No, you again don't took the blame away from the socio-economical system and put the blame on some group of people that only they're bad, and if we get rid of them, and you don't even if we get rid of those people or something along those lines, therefore everything will be fine and we will build some perfect world with perfect conditions, etc. That's simply not true, because at the beginning you denying that there was historical process that led to Russian Revolution, therefore to defeat of the Germany, therefore to absolutely atrocious, treacherous conditions. By the way, what led to World War I? The same, exact same socio-economical relationships. So you denying the process that caused degradation of Germany, of German Empire, and therefore objective process for the people to uprise in Germany, and there was communists who fought for 8-hour day, social guarantees, pensions, etc. And you denying again that it wasn't caused by the socio-economical system. The Hitler's uprising wasn't caused by socio-economical system. It was Jews, it was, I don't know, Illuminati, some conspiracy, corporations, it was Fed, again, just some particular group of people, etc., etc., etc. You don't put the blame on whole system altogether, which was entirely interconnected already during the 1900s. You took away the blame from this and put the blame on some group of people, and people attacking them. They hate them, they don't understand the objective process, they deny historical facts, etc., etc. And it's just hilarious how Americans so indoctrinated to believe in this, and Westerners also lesser, because they, at least some of Westerners in the Europe, understand what caused, for example, World War II or the World War I. The historical knowledge in Europe much better than in USA, but it's so hilarious how Americans indoctrinated to believe it, to deny the objective reality, objective historical processes, and put the blame on some group of people, to hate them, to I don't know, just to keep things as it is. And it doesn't really matter left or right. In reality, and the left and right have pretty much same rhetorics. The capitalism all good, we need to install the capitalism. Yes, some groups of people on the left in United States who really declaring that we need to build socialism. Socialism did not exist. There is no middle ground between private property, common ownership of the means of productions. There is no middle ground. There is no socialism. Socialism is just the beginning of communism, the beginning of uprising of the working class, the beginning of denying of the classes altogether, creating equal society. There is no middle ground. There is no imaginary socialism that those people want to build. Yes, everything is much more complex, but these two conditions is absolutely crucial for both systems. Private property allowed corporations, elites, government, oppress people through the means of production, through the provided, through the economical mechanism, etc. And exact opposite of this, when everyone in charge of the means of production, therefore they contribute to society, and therefore they got from society everything they need. And it's crucial and important to understand there is no socialism. And people who today in USA want to create some socialism is just stupidity. If they don't fight for the rights of for the common ownership of the goods of the means of production. They do not fight for communism, and therefore they still capitalists. Again, indoctrinated by American propaganda, maybe. And yes, it is, because it's so ridiculously hilarious how Americans tend to believe in anything, literally anything. Jews, Illuminati, aliens, reptiloids, flat earth, God, even Islam, I don't know, Scientology, sects of all kind, any kind of conspiracy theories, Nazis in Antarctica, etc., etc. It's so hilariously how Americans tend to believe in anything, absolutely anything except reality. And while living in this reality and seeing that and even understanding that something is wrong, inherently wrong with today's shape of things, and still so hilariously indoctrinated that they can't accept the basic historical facts, basic historical processes. When you put the blame on some group of people for some actions, therefore you take away the blame from the whole system altogether. And that's ridiculous. That's simply ridiculous.